Last week on the Epic Family Road Trip, we left Texas to continue on our journey around North America. This week, after an epic visit to Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona, we set our course for Southern California to the beautiful city of San Diego.
Into California.
On the way, we went through Flagstaff, Arizona, continuing southwest before ending up in Joshua Tree National Park, California. Joshua Tree National Park is an amazingly beautiful place where two types of desert meet, the hot, dry Rocky Mojave and the high Colorado Desert. While we were there, we enjoyed hiking both in the high and low desert and enjoyed walking through the incredible and unique Joshua trees. There was no cell service in the park, but on one of our hikes as we climbed to a higher elevation, our phones connected to a distant tower and all of a sudden a bunch of messages started coming through. They were from our uncle who had been checking in on our house every once in a while we were away. On this particular day when he pulled up to check on the house, he noticed something was wrong and he went in to have a closer look. Immediately he noticed that our house had been ransacked and robbed of many of our valuable and personal items like the TVs and sound systems, computers and video studio equipment, heirloom jewelry, and paintings. Initially, we were saddened by what we saw. What an uncomfortable feeling knowing that strangers had broken into our home. But over time, however, we began to see the whole experience as another step in the direction that we were heading as a family. A direction towards a more minimalist lifestyle, with more value being placed on our experiences together as a family than on the things that we owned. When we arrived in San Diego, we set up camp at the San Diego KOA.
After a good hike in Joshua Tree National Park in kind of central California, in the desert, Mojave Desert and the Colorado Desert. Really interesting park. You got to try it. If you have a chance to go through there, you got to check it out. The Joshua trees are unique to that area. Really neat, kind of a cactus or a yucca plant that grows in the shape of a tree. It got named the Joshua tree and they named the park after it, and it's a well-preserved piece of natural desert with some awesome hiking trails. Place called Big Boulders where there's just these big boulders that you can climb, and some nice hikes that just go way up into the mountains. And so after that we jumped on the road and did 2.5 hour drive down to San Diego, and here we are at the KOA parked in San Diego. The kids are playing some Uno back there, favorite game, although Dutch Blitz is probably right up there with Uno. And we've got a little bit of a bonfire going here, playing some guitar and just relaxing, getting ready to head a little bit north tomorrow and try to work our way up the coast.
From San Diego, we continue north along the Pacific coast up to the busy and beautiful city of Los Angeles.
Just 2 black coffees and 2 espressos.
After we managed to get the RV through LA traffic, we headed west to the coast, stopping at a beautiful campground in Malibu perched high up on the cliffs overlooking the magnificent Pacific Ocean. While we were there, we went to Surfrider Beach and rented wetsuits and surfboards to try some surfing. This was one of our first time surfing, and it was a lot of fun to learn in such a beautiful place. After some fun in the waves, we headed back to our campsite to enjoy the Easter long weekend, playing by the ocean and enjoying delicious fresh seafood.
This is a good campground. Here we are in Malibu, California, at the motorhome park, and we are right overlooking the ocean. Easter egg hunt time in Malibu, California. We're gonna hide the eggs around our camp spot. There's one. The key is to remember where we put them. On the wheel of the RV makes a great spot. Let's see if we can find a better spot to hide these. On the bumper of the Jeep, that's a great spot. That's right. In the exhaust pipe. Okay, we've hidden a bunch of Easter eggs. Now it's time to find them. 1, 2, 3, and go. I thought that'd be the hardest one. It's the first one they found. Where'd you get that? What do you got? Look. 4. You got 6. Camp spot is right up there, and we're walking down to Malibu Seafood to grab something to eat. Should be a nice walk, should be a nice dinner. This is a great place. I recommend you check it out, Malibu RV Camp. And here we are on the Pacific Ocean. We drove across America, and it's nice to be here. We've gone as far west as you can go. Now we have to go north or south, or, well, we can't go south, that's Mexico. If we go back east, we go where we've come from. So we're heading north. But for now, we're gonna enjoy the West Coast.
What's this?
What'd you find, buddy? That's weird. What do you think it is? Maybe an egg to the turtle.
Their eggs are white.
Oh.
Plant stem.
What is it?
It's like a plant stem.
Find a SpongeBob here?
No. At the other place I did.
Wowza, wowza, wowza. Look what you got.
Look at the size of these fries.
After a wonderful weekend, we continued north to San Francisco. Although we weren't staying in San Francisco, we wanted to make sure that we experienced driving over the famous Golden Gate Bridge. Next stop, the magnificent Redwoods. In Northern California, we stopped at Humboldt Redwood State Park. Humboldt Redwood State Park is home to the Rockefeller Forest, the largest remaining grove of old-growth coastal redwoods in the world.
This morning we headed up to the Avenue of the Giants. Look at that thing. It's hard to appreciate the size of the trees here. Must have been the most magnificent forest when the loggers started coming in. Before logging, when there was millions of acres of these gigantic trees. Here's another one. I mean, these things are massive beasts. You could fit right in the crevice. Is that the biggest tree you've ever seen?
Yes.
Awesome, eh? A big old tree fell down here, created a natural bridge.
It felt surreal to be surrounded by these towering red trees and the peacefulness of that ancient wilderness.
I slept all night on a big white ship. Seagulls were dancing all around. I woke up with a sunrise on the sea. Such a precious gift to me.
I'm sure thankful somebody preserved and saved these trees from the lumbermen. Even though millions of acres got lobbed down for lumber, somebody had the foresight to save at least some tracts of these magnificent trees.
As we crossed the state line from California, we pulled over to stretch our legs, walk on the beach, and breathe the ocean air.
Right out our window.
The majestic, rocky coast of Oregon is a sight to behold.
And back to where I'm from, a salty breeze in my lungs. On and on and on and on.
We continued up the coast before heading to Salem, Oregon, where our mom was born and raised, and we were excited to see Grandma and Grandpa again.
Salty breeze and the waves, a slower pace. Salty breeze and the waves.
After a few days, Mom and Dad flew back to Ontario to clean up the mess left behind by the robbers and to meet with a real estate agent. We were ready to sell the house and continue on our journey.
We're heading into Portland Airport to head to Toronto. We've got a couple of things we need to do there, a lot of things we need to do there. I need to get a medical procedure done, and I'm speaking in Toronto on the 20th. We're going to Ottawa for a franchise conference, and our house got broken into, so we have to go and take care of that and see what happened there. Talk to the insurance company. Back in Toronto at our house. We flew in last night. There's Carol working with the backpack blower, cleaning up. There was a big ice storm here. I was cutting trees, dragging them off the driveway, and now we're burning them over here. Got a big old bonfire going, getting the place ready, cleaned up, and looking good. We're here for a week, and then we're flying back out to Salem, where the kids are with their grandma and grandpa, having a good old time. I'm here also to speak at a conference in a few days. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be awesome. We are gonna finish cleaning up here, get to bed, get up in the morning, and head to Ottawa, where I have a conference, Canadian Franchise Association conference. I get to go there to network with all kinds of wonderful people in the franchise industry, which is really the industry that I spent a good part of my career in. So we'll talk to you soon.
When Mom and Dad got back to Oregon, we celebrated Peter's 14th birthday with a family barbecue.
This is Pete Jr.'s birthday. I believe he's 14. Is that right? Yeah.
I want to live
10-4.
We then headed to the coast to one of our favorite places, Pacific City.
in the arm of town. Surrounded by the sea, my eyes free. Salty breeze and the waves.
In Pacific City, we set up camp for a few days and rented some wetsuits and surfboards and took some surfing lessons from Moment Surf Shop. Our instructor Gary is a local surfing legend, and he gave us some excellent instructions before taking us out into the waves. The cold and rough breaks of the Oregon coast were a big change from the warm waters of Malibu, California.
Sorry, don't know where I'm going, wrong and black. As long as you've got you by my side in the red moonlight.
right, just fine.
We went out surfing all the next day so we could practice and apply the lessons we had learned from Gary. We were truly hooked on this awesome sport.
Pines and easterlies, open spaces, let me breathe.
We had now explored much of the Pacific coast from the Mexican border to the top of Oregon. There were some national parks in Central California that we still wanted to see, so after a wonderful visit with friends and family in Oregon, we jumped on the I-5 and headed all the way back down to Central California.
But know where I want to be.
Stay tuned for our next video as we head to Yosemite National Park, where our adventure took a sudden turn for the worse that changed our lives forever.